Hey, Arman here. Welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show, where we cover training, nutrition, supplementation strategies, and a whole lot more. So stand by. Hey, and welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
I'm not Armin Eckelbarger. I'm Frank Mills, and welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show. We're here in the NSP gym, and appreciate you joining us, whether you're watching or listening. Thank you so much for doing so. We have a great show for you today. We have a controversial topic today. We're going to be talking about the Liver King exposed. So stand by for that. And then, of course, we've got your fan questions and comments, and we'll be going over that as well. So, Armin, let's get started. This sounds pretty interesting. I was excited when I saw the format come over. Why did you decide to talk about this guy, the Liver King?
Yeah, it's probably a good question. Well, this guy has become popular in the social media realms, and what he does, he's promoting what he calls ancestral living to have optimal health, strength, and vitality, and just a better way of life. So if you follow what he does, you can look like him. Is kind of how the thing evolved, and he's managed to build some credibility from it, at least initially.
Yeah, because I have seen some of his pictures. And there's one good one of him holding up just this huge hunk of liver. I mean, it's big.
Yeah.
But, and I looked at him and I'm like, I don't know about this. So I'm glad we're talking about this. So, why don't we get back to this ancestral living? What exactly does that mean?
Well, in his opinion, there are basically 9 tenets to follow and basically live by. So that's what his mantra is on that.
Okay, 9 tenets. This sounds interesting. And so, do you know what those are, the 9 tenets?
Yeah, on his website, his list is you need to sleep, that's good. Eat, move, shield, which I'm not sure about that. Connect, have some cold exposure, some sun exposure, fight. I'm not sure why you need to do that, and then you need to bond. So that's his 9 tenets of his awesome lifestyle, as he puts it.
So, like, in other words, after you fight, you hug the guy. After you're done, you fight, then you bond.
Yeah, I don't quite understand all that, but
well, I'll tell you, those are quite interesting. A few of those, like shield and connect and fight and bond, those 4 kind of out there. But tell me what your thoughts are about this.
Well, most of the things he's talking about are kind of common sense. So again, the things I wasn't really sure about, why do you need to shield and why do you need to fight? So I'm like, but that's just something in his mind that he feels is important. I mean, he said he was an insecure guy, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But so being insecure, I guess maybe that was part of it. I have no idea, but doing cold showers and getting extreme heat and activities is that's kind of a normal form of hormesis, which we've talked about in the past. It can be beneficial to the body based on some of the latest science. So that's kind of a no-brainer. And men many years ago, it's kind of going back to the caveman style here. They had to deal with all that because that's how it was. So I get it. But he's just, in my opinion, he's just using the ancestral living thing to make a different kind of statement. So he's unique with what he's doing, which, okay, that's cool. And then you can follow him. So this is so you can follow him in his way. So that's like, who does this kind of stuff? Well, this guy's into it, and here's all the great things it's doing for him. So I get that. But at the end of the day, I mean, those ancestral tenets are fine, I guess. But the real biggest problem is he misled people and his followers, and that's really what this is all about, to help people.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. He misled them. All right. So how did he do that?
Well, as part of his promotion, of eating raw liver and bone marrow and tallow and eating nose to tail of the animal, that he did a lot of that. So that's kind of shocking kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So people are like,
Yeah.
God, how you do that?
Right.
And
Right.
he's bragging about it, how great it is and all the nutrients, which it does have good nutrients.
Right.
Okay. And so I get that. And he has all these other natural ways of eating food, along with different types of training strategies and approaches to, stress the body out. And so, as you're doing all these things, you kind of get the impression that, you'll get the same results if you just follow what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so he goes around wearing, no shirt. He
Mm.
barely got any clothes on most of the time because he's showing off his physique. This is his whole uh, key selling tool. It's like, look at
Mm-hmm.
my physique, but
Mm-hmm.
he's doing it. He's not really bragging about it. He's just like, hey, look at indirectly, look at me, and that's what he's doing. So, if you do his lifestyle, then anybody looking at him like, well, okay, natural response is, well, yeah, I guess you have to do this. If you do this, you'll look like him,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so that's where the curiosity goes.
Interesting. Well, I mean, back in ancestral living times, I'm just going to go back. I mean, I get the fighting. They used to fight with
Yeah, yeah.
they would fight with swords, but they would do other things and have contests and stuff. But they didn't have any workout equipment back then that I know of. Who knows?
Well,
Maybe.
he does more than just the workout equipment. He does
Uh-huh.
stuff out in nature and a lot of hardworking kind of thing. So
Oh, okay.
he's using all the things he has available. The guy's pretty smart as far as
Mm-hmm.
that goes. He's using all the tools available to kind of build his little story, so to speak.
Gotcha. So the guy has a good physique then.
Yeah, he's got it. Well, that's the thing is, he has a great physique, and
Mm-hmm.
typically, well, it's a bodybuilder physique. So those aren't easy to achieve,
Huh.
in my
Okay.
opinion, anyways.
Right.
And he stays lean all year round. Now, his abdominals are very well defined, so he's been accused of, you know, doing abdominal etching and some other surgical procedures as well. But
Okay.
he does maintain them all year round. And so, this kind of impresses people. This guy's in great shape. He's lean. He hadn't put on any body fat. And wow, look at this. And so it's a good message. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, so it's been working. But it's like a lot of other people who get followers because how they look, and then their message resonates with other people with the people, and then it ends up becoming an influencer, is what they're called in social media.
Mm-hmm.
So he's influencing people. If you do these things, I'm going to help you, so I can help you,
Gotcha.
and that's what he was ideally trying to do, is help people, but with his own style of living, so to speak.
Right. Right. Okay. So I get that. And it would sound like a good message because even we did a show on Reality Fitness about eating wild meat and how it's so
Yeah,
good for you, elk and bear and all that good stuff.
yeah.
So it doesn't really sound too bad, but I'm curious, we talked about that stuff, but what exactly did he get exposed of, Armin?
Yeah, that's the biggest question here is, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of people are already hearing about it already because he's had to admit it. But as part of promoting his lifestyle and the way he looks, people are asking him, "Man, you look really extreme. Are you on steroids?" And he
Uh-huh.
would get these questions because the, he get these questions because, like, well, how do you get to look like that?
Right, right.
And so when he was asked it, he would blatantly say, "No, I've never touched this stuff. Wouldn't touch this stuff." Okay, and it's been recorded, so there's no denying that he said it. So,
Right.
so this ended up being a lie, a full-fledged lie.
Oh
But
boy.
he kept denying it repeatedly when he was asked, even on public activities that he was doing, whether it's a YouTube show he was doing or whatever. He was just denying it. So, you know, he was leading people to believe, if you just do my natural way of living, you can look and be and get all the benefits that I'm doing, and it's because I'm all natural that I look the way I look. So you got to eat like the Liver King, and so which makes sense if that's what you're selling.
Yeah.
But this is an issue with a lot of these physique influencers, that are out there because they're telling people that they're all natural,
Mm-hmm.
and their way of living allows them to do that, and a lot of them aren't. So there are good natural people out there, and so that needs to be remain. That is a good thing. But
Mm-hmm.
you got a lot of people acting like they are, and it's really really no need for that. But
Right.
they're trying to get people to engage with them and follow them, and that's what he was doing. He was doing a really good job with, apparently.
Yeah. The problem with that is, man, when you're dishonest, eventually it comes out. I mean, it just does. If it's a year or 20 years, it will come out. Um, so he's been exposed. He's been caught now. What happened since he's been exposed, Arman?
Well, like now he's been trying to do damage control. I mean, that's all you can do. And
Yeah.
he had finally admitted everything in a video, apologizing and using the
Uh,
F. He uses a lot of F-bomb words to I guess make things more intense because I don't think that's necessary to get your point across. But
right. Right.
he was just asking for forgiveness since he was only trying to help people. And this is it's a typical minister with their pants caught down situation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or you're checking somebody's underwear and it's like, oh, there's some shit stains here.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and that's
Right.
really what happened. And so, I would say, in my opinion, his credibility, which was questionable in the first place, well, now it's absolutely shot, in my
Right.
opinion. So,
Right.
and, once you cross that line of, people trusting you with what you're doing and what you're saying and believing
Right.
in you, and then they find out it's a lie, well, they're going to be looking to move on to better things because you're a fraud. Which we have a lot of that in the society. Unfortunately, people
Mm-hmm.
they'll do these kind of things, rationalize why they can keep doing them, and until they finally get caught, and then they're trying to do what they can to minimize the damage. But we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. I mean, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Armin, he's been exposed. He apologized. All this information's out there.
Yeah.
So what's your takeaway from this?
Well, the reason for us doing the show is to first and foremost, to not believe a lot of these influencers out there.
Right.
You need to do your homework, and if something doesn't look or sound right, or it's not adding up, there's going to be a reason for it. Now, it
Right.
could be a good reason for it, but there could be a fraudulent reason for it because it's
Mm-hmm.
due to getting followers or due to getting compensation. And again, these things are in human nature for people to thrive in that situation.
Right.
So
Right.
when I first heard about him, for me, I saw some of the video things like, who is this guy? So I looked at some of the looked at some of the content briefly, and then looking at his pictures and how he talks and everything, I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. I'm not impressed at all. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give it the time of day. But
Mm-hmm.
this guy kept going around and he's just adding more fuel to the fire and generating. When you get in the public eye, you're going to get scrutinized, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's just how it is. So being in the public eye is not so much a good thing sometimes, especially if you're somebody in his situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you you need to be honest with people, okay? And if you're honest with people, you're going to get better mileage. But if you keep defrauding people, it's gonna like you said, it's gonna catch up with you.
Right.
So
Right.
this also kind of makes you wonder what is really in the supplements that he sells and he promotes, huh?
Right. Right. Well, yeah, that's something I was going to ask you too. What was how how did he benefit from being the Liver King? Like, if he's leaving ancestral, the only thing I could think of that he could sell to make money was like to show, look, this is what I do every day. Buy
Yeah.
this. But I was going to ask you about the supplementation. So Was he selling supplements of his lifestyle, of the ancestral type living? Did he have his own supplement line or something?
Absolutely, yeah. That's
Oh boy.
so that was a part of it. You live my lifestyle, and then if you don't like this kind of lifestyle of eating raw liver and these things, then try my supplements because they're going to give you the same
Oh,
effects. And I mean, again, it was just, this is how I can help you.
right.
And then he would give him some free stuff, as far as how to do the nine tenants and all that kind of thing. And so I also looked at his website on the supplement side, and amazingly enough, everything he sells has a 5-star rating. Not one thing doesn't have a 5-star rating with all the reviews. Okay.
Hmm.
On every product, not just one or two. Every single product has a 5-star review with just tons of positive information.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing. He may have made some good products, but at the end of the day, if he's willing to defraud you up front with his, not taking steroids, it's going to make you wonder what's in the product. So I
Yeah.
would never give it. I would never give it the time of day. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's other good supplement companies out there and good products. So I wouldn't mess with it. But it's just a shame that these people do this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, Armin, as we're running out of time, you got any final thoughts here on the Liver King and the content in the show here that we've just talked about?
Well, one thing that could come up is he could get sued by a lot of his followers.
Oh yeah.
That would be ouch city trying to defend himself because he did fraudulently do things. So
Mm-hmm.
his problems could just be getting started. I don't know. But the thing is, at the end of the day, there are a lot of influencers out there, and I shake my head on some of these people that they're trying to do this stuff, and they're going to get some followers because people just don't know any better. They really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but people can believe what they want to believe, but it's in their best interest to dig deeper, learn more about where this person is coming from, where they're getting information from. And
Mm-hmm.
if something's not adding up, we'll just call them out on it. Okay, well, I'm hearing this. Why is this better? Or why are
Mm-hmm.
you doing this? And if it doesn't make sense, obviously just stop following them and get away from it because they're
Right.
influencing you to do something that they have to offer.
Right. Right.
Okay, and it's not gonna be free. Now, maybe there are some people that are influencers, and that's all I would do is do free stuff. And okay, that's fine. Probably harmless, but at the end of the day, most of them have a reason to influence you.
Mm-hmm.
They're leading you down to one particular area, and that's if you want to do what I do and look as good as I do, then here's what it's going to run you.
Right.
And
Right.
not there's nothing against that because people are looking for help. That's a good thing. It's just be honest with people, and
Mm-hmm.
again, be smart about what these kind of people are doing. Uh, use your intelligence, anyways.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good stuff, Armin. And I agree with you. Do your homework before you take anything, before you start doing anything. Because the last
Yeah,
thing that you want is to start a training program or find something online. You get all excited about it. And a lot of these poor people, you get 6 months in and like, oh my gosh, I spent all this money. I've done all this
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and it doesn't even add up. Do your homework so you won't be sorry like a lot of those folks. So, anyway.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's the first half of the show. We're going to take a quick break, and Arm and I are going to talk about fan questions
All
and
right.
much more. So stand by for a quick word from NSP Nutrition, and Armin and I will be right back.
Hey, and welcome back to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Arman Eckelbarger.
I'm Frank Mills, and before we get started into the fan questions, Arm and I were just talking and thinking about our first segment about the Liver King, and we've gotten a lot of questions. I get asked all the time from my neighbors and friends, my coworkers, things like that, why I do this YouTube show with Arman, how it all came together, and am I doing it for money? Am I doing? And those are all fair questions. And I thought it'd be good to kind of talk a little bit about this. You know, Arman and I met just over 3 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
and I was seeking out someone local that I thought was credible in the fitness industry. And what I was looking for was to do a health and fitness podcast because I was trying to get healthy. I was not the most healthy guy when I met Arman. I wasn't at a good weight level, none of that stuff. And it was for information, but I also thought a podcast to help people would be cool. So at that time, Arman had a gym, and I went to his gym, and we met and we talked, and we were pretty like-minded right out of the gate. We started doing Frank Mills Reality Fitness. We did that for, oh God, it was more than a couple of years,
Right.
and did a lot of really great shows. But that's how NSP found out about Arman and I and the show, and inquired if we would like to do a show kind of on a different format, though, for NSP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Arm and I were already taking the NSP supplements. We already
Yeah.
liked their product, and we liked them because they're all natural and they're
Right.
quality products. And they, for me, I can't speak for Arman, but, Arman, you're going to be able to say what you think too, is for me, they were life-changing. My energy levels changed. My stamina changed. My mental clarity changed. This wasn't like to sell to make money. I had already went through the transformation of using their supplements. I had tried other supplements.
Yeah.
That's what made me believe in wanting to do the show. It wasn't for monetary gain. It wasn't for anything but for that. That's why I did it, because if I felt if we could do a show together and change one person a week to just try these supplements and make them feel better like I did, it was worth it to me. Now, Arman, you have a different view because I'm the normal, everyday, average guy. I'm not you. I'm not the bodybuilder. I'm not that guy. You are, but you have your own reasons on why you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I'm a lot more critical of supplements because I've tried so many different companies, so many different types of products. Because I believe supplements are helpful, but again, when I found these, I immediately switched over, and I had a really good arrangement with another supplement company that was promoting me, but they were just better, and I could tell a difference, and that's what you look for when you're going to take some
Right.
supplements. So,
Right.
in a nutshell, that's why I switched over. They don't have everything, okay, so I do use some other companies, but if first and foremost, I'm going to check and see if they have what I'm looking for, and they're working on bringing on more products. It's just that supplement business, it's not easy business either because you got to get the right amount of orders and stuff like that. But they're still putting together the stuff that Vince was making a long time ago, keeping those ingredients alive.
Absolutely. So for anybody who's thinking that, oh, well, the only reason you guys are doing this is for monetary gain. Well, everybody has a job and they do things for money. So that's one part of it. But it wasn't about the money. It was about the message, and the quality of the supplements is what drove us to do it. And that's really the bottom line. Right, Arman?
Yeah, we're not making any money on this thing.
Yeah, we're not. We're doing this to try to help people. And if we can, then that's great. And that's our story. So, and we're doing it now. Gosh, I can't remember how many episodes we're on, like 60 something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, for all of you subscribing, following, liking, sharing, thank you. We appreciate it very, very much. All right. So, Arman, let's get into some fan questions. we're getting into the holidays, and we got a question here from Manny,
Okay.
and he said, guys, every year I go into the holidays with the mindset, okay, this year's going to be different. I'm not
Mm.
going to overeat. I'm not going to, when I go to mom's house, I'm not going to do this. At work, when they have the party and the cookies and the cakes and holiday treats, I'm not going to overindulge. And he goes, guys, the bottom line is I have awful willpower. So,
Yeah, it's tough. I hear you, man.
so is there any advice that you could give Manny, um, to help him adjust his willpower, his thought processes from what he said, from Halloween,
Hmm.
Halloween candy,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Is there any way to help him navigate through this? Any suggestions?
Well, there's obviously the mental toughness will help, but like for the Halloween candy, like for me, I'll eat some Reese's cups and maybe a few other things, and that's it. I'll enjoy it that night, and then I'm done. The rest of it gets thrown away or given away
Right.
to somebody that wants it. So that's what I do on the candy part of it. When you go into different events, though, one of the things you can consider doing is eating some good quality food before you go, because you're not going to have the appetite. Now, if you go when
Right.
you're starved, yeah, you're going to load up on it most
Right.
likely. So just
Right.
have some protein with some fat in it. That'll kind of get you filled up, and then you can just enjoy some carbohydrates while you're there. Would be one way of doing it, because most of the time when you go to these events, it's a carb loaded situation. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then bottom line, just stay away from all the processed food, the chips, the pretzels, and anything it's comes from a box. Okay, probably not going to help you with your fat loss goals at all. So
Mm-hmm.
get rid of processed food and don't be doing sugary drinks. Again, you're just adding a bunch of glucose, which is going to convert to or carbon sugars, which are going to convert to glucose, become fat in the
Mm-hmm.
fat cells. So anyways, that's how I would approach that,
Yeah.
and then kind of do it case by case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing that helped me, that you kind of directed me to, Armin, and it really helped me, is when I get off track, because I have to admit I do get off track, is
Well, I mean, it happens, yeah.
is you got me on a fasting thing, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
my fasting that Armin kind of helped me out with probably isn't a true fast, because I take the beef liver capsules from NSP, but the thing that I found is when I do that, it takes away those habits that I had of like craving something sweet or craving something like that. And it actually makes it go away. And I think that's something that's really helped me out. If I feel myself, I'm getting out of control, I ate too
yeah,
much Halloween candy, I go on a fast and I do anywhere from 1 to 3 days, and it basically kind of resets, and
yep.
those habits are gone. So it does help me mentally. So that might help you too, also, Manny. But I don't know, Armin, what do you think?
Yeah, the fasting is good because it gets that insulin down, and you
Uh-huh.
need to keep the insulin down. When insulin stays up, you're gonna body's gonna be asking you for more carbs and sugars to keep your energy up. It also disrupts your insulin sensitivity because it becomes less sensitive to the carbohydrates, and
Mm-hmm.
this also can affect your leptin and ghrelin hormones. Leptin hormones saying, "Hey, I'm full." Ghrelin say, "Hey, I need to keep eating." So they'll get out of
Right.
sync with too much insulin in your system, um, and then that's not good. And so
Right.
you want to
Right.
keep good insulin sensitivity up. And our
Right.
biggest problem right now, in my opinion, is insulin resistance is on all time high. It's just
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
I agree. I mean, unfortunately, we've got a lot of people who have been kind of taught that it's okay by the marketing campaigns all over the United States and the world. Like, it's okay to supersize and all you can eat and all that good stuff. And you really don't need to do that stuff. And that's where we
Uh,
really kind of get into trouble, you know?
yeah, well, They position it being fun. Let's enjoy this, and God, we're gonna eat all this stuff. At the end of the day, all you're doing is creating a lot of problems for yourself health wise.
Right. Right.
So just don't keep following that stupid mantra that's out there. But people also don't know any better. They think, well, it's what eating carbs is supposed to be good for you because that's what you get promoted, in the media and even the government,
Mm-hmm.
because they're basically funded by food companies too. So look at the school system, horrible, just horrible in the school system. The
Mm-hmm.
processed food companies got into there. So, anyways, it's just not good. You have to be your own advocate on this stuff and
Right.
learn and find out what's going to help you, especially if you don't want to have a lot of health issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's good. When it comes to the holidays, the thing that you taught me is to target, even if you're hungry, to target the proteins
Yeah,
first to help fill
yeah,
me up. And then, if you want to go have a little dessert,
yeah,
that's okay. Don't say no, because then you're gonna end up going crazy, right? So,
yeah. Just you have to kind of experiment with it to see how it works, but you'll get better at it as you do it. But that's how I would approach it because whatever you end up eating, you got to burn it off. But at the same time, if it's trash food, it converts to fat very easily. So your chances
mm-hmm,
of burning it off are going to be not as good, especially if you're not burning fat because your insulin's elevated.
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
anyways,
Okay. The last question, it's a pretty easy one. I'm a big coffee drinker. This is from Jonathan. Jonathan's a big coffee drinker. He's
mhm.
grown up. It's embedded in his brain, cream and sugar in his
Okay,
coffee. He reads about how bad sugar is for him. He doesn't like stevia.
yeah,
Uh, he's asking about the raw sugar. Is there other supplements or, excuse me, other substitutes other
yeah.
than having white sugar, raw sugar, stevia? How can he adjust his coffee, adjust his taste buds to where he can eliminate the sugar problem with his coffee?
Well, I think the best route for him to go is to try the allulose. We talked about that before. So allulose is an
Agree.
all natural sweetener, but it does not raise your insulin. So I think it's probably the best option, and it looks kind of like sugar, and it tastes really close. So give that a try and see what happens, and then just know that that's working for. If you like it, it'll work.
Absolutely. And Armin, you turned me onto this heavy cream. Heavy cream
Yeah.
with allulose, to me, tastes just like cream and sugar, but it's better for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, you do have some natural sugar coming from the cream, but it's not a
Right.
lot. I mean,
Right.
but yeah, I think that should work well. And again, he's not getting the damage from the fructose, and the fructose is what does a lot of damage because
Mm-hmm.
fructose causes glycation, which is a hardening of the cell walls faster than anything else, which
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to have that because it causes too many problems with your hormones and causes wrinkling and premature aging. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And the heavy cream has, I don't know, it adds like more body to your coffee. It just
Oh, it's really
it
good, man.
yeah, it does. It tastes a lot better. So
It's good
anyway.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, another show down. We still need your content. So anybody watching or
Yep.
listening, please, if you have a question, a topic, anything that you'd like to contribute to this segment of the show, we would
Mhm.
definitely appreciate hearing from you. Lots of ways to do that. You can scan the QR codes above our heads and contact us each directly. You can also comment on the YouTube section under the show. And last
Yep.
but not least, you can email us support at nspnutrition.com and we'll get that content. And who knows, maybe your topic or question will be on the show. Armin, another great show, man. Thank you so much for all you do.
No problem. Hopefully everybody got some takeaways from it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, and tune in next week for a brand new episode of the NSP Nutrition Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out the NSP show. Go to nspnutrition.com where you can find a whole heap of resources to help you achieve stunning definition and eye-popping levels of muscularity. Don't forget you can save 10% on your first order by using the code NSP show at the checkout. Catch you next time.